Cleanup crews power washed graffiti from Portland State's library today, and the school's president said it would be fall before the library would be able to reopen. Also today, many of those arrested had their first court appearances. When something like this happens, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we can show you most nights. But tonight we will pull back the curtain at least a little bit. Since we have a new initiative here at KGW to look for solutions, we wanted to take some time to show you what went right. It comes in the form of cooperation among the public agencies, an acknowledgement of the sadness over what happened, and a willingness to speak out and condemn the destruction. Let's start with Mayor Ted Wheeler.
Finally, I just want to say this about that. I, for the life of me, do not understand how terrorizing local business operators can possibly impact events in the Middle East. If you believe that by damaging a business, which frankly harms the frontline employees who work in those businesses, and we've had reports that they were frightened, that they were traumatized, if you believe damaging those businesses or trashing a library on a university campus will impact events in the Middle East, then you are delusional.
It unfortunately is not an unusual development for Portland protests. It's common, actually, for peaceful protesters to begin a march or other action to draw attention to their concerns, only to have it taken over by others who are much more interested in destruction and fighting with police. Police Chief Bob Day has seen that over the years and talked about it today.
But in particular, that this isn't a victory lap. In fact, I see events like this with a great deal of sadness. And the reason is because the criminal behavior that we've outlined and we've seen demonstrated really co-opts the true message and the significance of maybe what is trying to be accomplished. We all have deeply held beliefs, whether that be about conditions around the world or right here in the city of Portland. And when we see the activity that we've seen over the last few days, or even going back to 2020, we lose the opportunity to bring about real change. And I know that Portlanders at their core want to be about real change, and this isn't the way to go about it.
Those comments came on Thursday. Day is relatively new to the job of police chief, but he rose up through the ranks at Portland Police and gained decades of experience before retiring. Now he's been lured out of retirement to lead the force, and in his unique position, he's not all that interested in following a predictable script. Here he is talking about the high level of cooperation over the last few days and how that is not standard and is new for Portland.
I think this is unique for us as a city, but really unique for us as a country. I'm not seeing this anywhere else where the university leaderships, the police, the mayor, and the district attorney are coming together and saying, yes, we want a different story, we want a different narrative. This represents in a small way what Portland is and what Portland can be. And I would encourage our other elected leaders, our other university presidents, state leaders, as well as federal leaders to step into this space and support this work.
Finally, the chief said he was mindful of criticism. Actually, I'm saying finally, the chief was mindful of criticism his police force has taken over the years after dealing with protesters. Didn't want to put that into his mouth. He did want to make sure that we all knew that he was proud of their actions on Thursday.
Just overall, I want to commend and thank the men and women of the Portland Police Bureau, the state police, and those other agencies I mentioned. This is a tough job, and these events can be very taxing. People have worked a lot of hours under a tremendous amount of pressure and scrutiny. And to this extent and what we've seen so far, I've been very proud and very pleased with the work we're seeing. We've got more work to do today. We're going to have more work to do tomorrow. That's just the nature of what we do. But I couldn't be more proud to represent the Police Bureau and continue to promote this beautiful city that I know we all love and care about.
Portland State's President Ann Cudd was also at that news conference Thursday. We've not really had a chance to see her under duress like this, and it was impressive how composed she appeared under the pressure. In her quest for solutions, she talked about her negotiations with the students in the library before calling the police.
We asked for their presence and their assistance only after extensive negotiations using faculty members as intermediaries. We gave students in the library the opportunity to leave without the threat of expulsion or suspension and no transcript notation, no changes to their current status in student housing, and no changes to their scholarship status or financial aid, as well as no impact on their educational visa status. I even offered to engage with them directly in dialogue about their other demands. The students who remained in the building chose not to take that option. We also made it clear to all faculty, staff, and students that remaining in the library that was trespassing. They had plenty of opportunity to leave prior to the police arriving, and they chose not to stay.
I believe she meant to say they chose to stay. PSU's president also talked about the need to serve all of PSU students, not just the few who took over the library.
Our primary concern is for the physical and emotional well-being of our students. This was a traumatic event for everyone in our campus community, both those inside the library and then those watching from outside. Throughout this process, and even after the events of the day, I'm still open to meeting with our students to hear their concerns, but this protest is obviously bigger than Portland State University at this point. PSU is an access institution. We have more than 21,000 students. It is incumbent on us to serve all of our students. Of course, we support the free speech rights of our students who feel so passionate about the horrors of war and the killings of innocents in Gaza. But we must take care of all of our students and provide a safe learning environment. It is tragic that some of our students, along with others from outside, have so badly damaged our library and taken away that essential learning space. You know, as a philosophy professor and the daughter of librarians, that space is really a sacred space to me, and I am really so saddened to see what has happened to it.
And finally, Ann Cudd, the president there, was asked if the students who took over the library will face discipline. She said yes. So, what do you think about what city leaders and the PSU president had to say about that library occupation? Do you think something should have been handled differently? How and why? Let us know, will you? Send us an email. The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave us a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.